All right, everybody, welcome to the live stream. I'm going to change things up a little bit on this live stream. We usually talk about stocks, and I love stocks. And this particular session, we're going to talk about crypto. And I've been investing in crypto for a little while, since 2018, just easing into this particular space. And I brought somebody who does have a lot more experience and really puts more of his portfolio into crypto. And I've talked to him before, and in talking with him, it just expanded my knowledge base. And that's what I'm hoping this live stream does, is it expands everybody's just knowledge of this space, not necessarily recommending or persuading you to invest. It's just expand what this thing is. Today, it's a pretty significant asset class. And I would not be surprised if we wake up 5 years from now and it's more significant. And the earlier that I learn, the better I will be able to take advantage of it. So I'm here to learn, and I'm here with a domain expert. Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am doing great.
Good.
Steve has several channels, I guess, across multiple platforms. And I put those details on the live stream details. And you could check him out on Twitch. Maybe you could do an intro and tell the audience like where they could find you.
Yeah, sure. You can find us on Twitch at AlphaExchange. Myself and a couple of buddies, we run the channel over there. We're live every day except Sundays. Sundays are our off days from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier. And it's all things crypto, from basics all the way up to an advanced. We also touch on the stock market as well, because there is a lot of people that, cross over, hybrid invest in both. So we do talk in stocks. It's not like I'm an anti-stock person. And yeah, we go in from trading, right? Everyone can, I guess, from reading charts, that's the easy thing. But getting into like the hardcore DeFi stuff, doing things on chain, where you're basically doing stuff in self-custodial. So you don't have to worry about a third party or anything like that. It's yourself personally doing it. And that's what makes crypto great, right? You don't have to worry about your dad looking over your shoulder, or Uncle Sam. I shouldn't say Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's good, but you don't have to look at somebody watching over your shoulder saying, "Hey, you can't enter this position because it's too risky," kind of deal.
Yeah, I get it. So I think crypto, it's so wide open, so flexible, and so free that, yes, it is liberating. At the same time, it's a little scary, because there is a little bit of comfort level in knowing that, hey, well, I always have my broker to kind of fall back on, or I always have like when the big banks collapse, which was why Bitcoin was born. The
Yep.
government kind of rescued the banks, and I don't think that was right, but they're too darn important to fail, so to speak. Anyway, so let's do this. It looks like we've got Alpha Relapse. Thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it. Let's just do a quick intro on the, what is this asset class all about? Like, if you could just kind of give a quick overview of, these are like store of value asset classes, and then just take a quick tour around, and feel free to share your screen if that's going to be helpful to you.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, so what crypto is as a whole, right? Yes, it's an asset store of value, but that's when people hear crypto, they hear Bitcoin, right? But there is so much more to crypto than just Bitcoin. I would say Bitcoin is a store of value more at this point. Some people are doing some things with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is your store of value, right? It's like your gold or silver, precious metals, right? You can even look at it when we get later on. We're going to talk about staking, but like a money marketing account, you just put money in there and you collect that 5% interest kind of deal. You do that with Bitcoin. And then when you get into, writing smart contracts or transactions, that's when you start expanding out into the crypto horizons with different kinds of tokens, different kinds of coins. You'll hear me use the word coin and token a lot. I am a big component on people understanding the difference of that. A coin is considered a layer 1. A token is considered a layer 2, right? So Bitcoin is a layer 1. That is at the top. And then you have different protocols that are getting built underneath your layer 1s, and those are tokens, right? So Ethereum is a layer 1, Solana is a layer 1, right? So you start getting into that. You have Polygon. Polygon's a layer 2 under Ethereum, right? So Polygon itself is a token. It's not a coin. And you'll hear a lot of people, say, Shiba coin, right? Well, Shiba isn't a coin. Shiba is a token, technically, because it's a layer 2 on Ethereum. But that's going off subject. I'm sorry. So that when you start to be able to classify what's the store value and what's for transactions, right? Where you can have a chain that can do 40,000 transactions a second, and you're paying 0.001 penny to send a transaction. That's where the real things of crypto comes in and kind of gets rid of like Swift and all of that, and that's what crypto and the technology is in the blockchain as well. And there is money to be made. There's a lot of money to be made, but the technology behind it is more than just looking at it as an asset.
Very good. So Bitcoin is a layer 1, and so is Ethereum. Now, it's a total new universe for me, and I'm sure for others. So I understand Bitcoin was really to have a decentralized way of having digital currencies. Totally get that. And I paid somebody for some services just recently, paid him $150, the equivalent of 150 USD. Boom. Took care of it. He was in Canada. No big deal. So I get that. And I also get that it can avoid currency fluctuations. So El Salvador started to use Bitcoin and I guess how they base their economy. That's their kind of currency.
They have it as a reserve. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's really interesting. And then MicroStrategies. I mean, that CEO is like all in on Bitcoin. So
Michael Saylor, yes, he is all in on Bitcoin.
And I've listened to him. I probably have logged 4 to 6 hours listening to him. Now I'm a software professional, so he's one of our guys who decided to walk on the wild side and went all in on Bitcoin. And I totally get his point of view. Totally get it. I'm just not betting all my eggs. I've got maybe 2 to 3% of my overall liquid portfolio into cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
And I'm open to doing more. The area that I would love to explore, because I get Bitcoin, it's like gold. You buy it. I bought, and feel free to laugh, but like when I first started buying, like in 2018, right, I was seeking knowledge. So I was buying like hundreds of dollars at a time.
Okay.
But the coins were like, how much were they in like 2018?
They were about 3,500, and then Correct. It ran up to like 18,000. It just depends when you bought it. I would have to go back and look at.
So I remember they were like way less. Now there's 62,000 and some change, 62,600.
Yep.
So I was like going in at $100, $200, in just kind of dollar cost averaging, because I just was, if anything, just cautious. Yep. And now I buy $500, $1,000 at a time, more comfortable. But now the Bitcoin is at 62,600. I've invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum just because I'm not that knowledgeable, and that's playing it safe. And I'm in one liquidity pool. And but I'd love to explore. Okay, so I get the store of value. It's worked for me. It's been one of the best performing assets in my portfolio. So has Coinbase. I own the Coinbase stock.
Coin is good. Yep.
Yeah. Now let's get outside of store of value. What are other ways that investors can make money?
Oh, well, there's There's a whole bunch of ways that you
give me
can
the
do
easiest
it,
ones first, please.
right? The easiest ones first. Yeah, so I guess we can move into the staking, right? That would be the easiest way and the safest way.
Okay.
I have this here in front of me to show you guys. But step one, what you would want to do is get one of these things here. It is called a ledger. Okay. This is a wallet. So think of your bank account. Okay. This is your bank account. Okay. This is a ledger. This is where, when you come into the self-custodial, which I said earlier, right? Self-custodial is taking responsibility and taking control of your assets. So whether you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB, Poly, down to a meme coin, right? Like we can say Bonk or Doge or anything like that. Put it on this thing right here. Okay.
And what was the brand on that?
It's called Ledger. Okay, so LEDGR. I can send you a link. We are partners with them.
Okay.
What I will say, you don't have to use like the link that's affiliated with us. If you are going to buy this, there is a couple of them, right? There's Ledger, and then there's Trezos and stuff like that. Don't look for deals on these, okay? Don't try to go and save $10 because Amazon is having a deal where it's $10 cheaper. Buy it from the manufacturer, okay? Buy it from the manufacturer. You want to make sure that you're safe, that it's safe, it's sealed, nothing to be played with. And you're going to get this, and you can have multiple wallets on here. I have about 10 of them. Just because I use it a lot. I interchange chains. So between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, et cetera, right? So I just have different ones for different chains. But you can have multiple tokens and multiple coins on this. Like this is the Nano S. The Nano S supports like 500 different coins to have just on here. Then you can have multiple wallets on it as well, where you have your seed phrase. Think of your seed phrase as your password. But your seed phrase ranges from 12 words up to 36 words. I would go with the latter there and go with a 36-word seed phrase. And that's basically the way for you to get into this device is by using the seed phrase and getting into a wallet, a Web3 wallet, right? A crypto wallet. And then there's a difference between like this is self-custodial cold wallet. Then you have a hot wallet where you have your browser source wallets like MetaMask or Phantom, Coinbase wallet, stuff like that, right? That's a hot wallet that could be compromised a lot easier than this. A lot easier, actually. These are nearly impossible to be compromised. Just because I don't know how familiar you are with sending wires, but if you are sending a lot of wires through your bank, you basically have a keychain that will give you like a two authentic code that changes like every 30 seconds, right? Yep. Think of it the same way with this is when you want to do a transaction, there's a special code that shows up on this wallet. And that code changes every 30 seconds or so. And you use that code to be able to get logged into your wallet or send a transaction. Where if you're using a hot wallet, like a browser source wallet, somebody compromises it, they can just hit OK and agree and send without a code. So that's step one. Get yourself a ledger. Get yourself a cold wallet, whether it's a ledger or a treasure or anything like that. And there's multitudes of ones. They make ones for as cheap as $80 or as much as $400. And the ones that are $400 you really don't need. It's just like a touch screen, latest technology thing. But the $80 and $100 versions, the Nano X and the Nano S is all you really need, to be honest with you. Especially if you're only just going to be doing Bitcoin, Ethereum, stuff like that. You don't need to get into anything more than that. But what the big thing is with Ledger, you can stake through Ledger themselves too. And you don't have to deposit your crypto into any kind of staking website to, let's just say the website goes down or the website gets hacked, you'll lose your staking stuff. Doing it through Ledger, they're basically issuing paper Ethereum while you keep your Ethereum locked in your wallet. So if anything does happen, you're safe, if that makes sense. But you can stake with Ledger. You get about with Ethereum, you're getting about 3%. I did write down some numbers here. Coinbase, you're at 2.68% APY for Ethereum. Bitcoin, you get about 0.6%, 0.7% roughly. And then Solana, you're looking at 4.57%. AVAX is 6%. SUI is at 10%. So there's just different kinds of tokens and coins, whatever your flavor is that you like to invest in.
Very good. So right now I'm staking my Ethereum, and I own most of my Ethereum through Coinbase.
Yep.
And I am earning a yield there. What I didn't know is I can stake Bitcoin, so I'm totally game on that.
Yeah, you can. Now staking Bitcoin, you it's not the easiest thing in the world, but you can stake it, right? It's about 0.6% roughly yearly.
And here's a recent opportunity for me is, so I have multiple brokerages, and one of them decided to start offering Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they have 0 fees. And I'm like, well, that's a lot better than Coinbase. It's a lot better.
Coinbase fees options. Is a lot. Yeah.
So I've been buying my Coinbase through my broker. So everybody out there, if you're interested in buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are the 2 most popular. My brokerage offers them, and I've checked it. I've same price, for the coin on
now.
Coinbase.
Are they issuing it as a paper Bitcoin, or are you able to withdraw it on chain though?
So I would say the brokerage is doing it in a way that a stockholder would want, which is this. Okay, this is what it means to me is, if I wanted that money and I want to withdraw it and go on vacation, the answer is yes. If I wanted to withdraw that money and put it into Meta stock, done. If I wanted to withdraw it and put it into cash, done. Now the whole, can I put it on chain, off chain, and all that other stuff? I don't know, but I would say that I think the brokerages are realizing that, hey, if we're not careful, this asset class is going to get really big, and it's going to take away a lot of capital and dollars away from us. So we got to get into it. I'd love to hear your opinion on ETFs, because the ETFs are kind of an easy way for people to say, okay, I'm going to buy crypto. I'm going to buy it in an ETF. It's run by managers who know what they're doing. And I pay a management fee, and then I'm in the asset class. Any comments on ETFs?
Yeah, for sure. So listen, I own the ETFs just for a historical moment within the crypto itself. I don't need the ETF just because I know how to buy the actual underlying asset. The ETF exposes you, let's use BlackRock, for example, right? Most of them are all the same. Exposes you to 0.0006 Bitcoin, right? Each ETF that you buy, that's how much Bitcoin it's equivalent to. Which is cool. Don't get me wrong. The ETFs are great. For myself, I don't need it, right? I know how to buy Bitcoin. I know how to sell Bitcoin. I can do it all on chain. I don't need an institution. I think it's great to get more eyes on it, right? And more people invest it. But as we speak right now, by you just buying the ETF and that ETF representing that Bitcoin isn't being bought, right? They're using Coinbase as a custodial. This gets into a whole nother thing, but as of right now, it is not confirmed that the Bitcoin that is associated with the ETF is actually Bitcoin that's on chain, or whether it's paper Bitcoin. No one knows. And BlackRock released a statement last week giving Coinbase 20 days to prove that the Bitcoin that's being purchased on the inflows are actual real on-chain assets and not just paper issue.
See, I would have assumed that they bought those coins that are behind that ETF.
Nope.
I don't own any ETFs. I own coins. I own the coins directly.
Sure.
I don't claim to be it. If anything, I'm just kind of a newcomer to it. I've been willing to put a little capital into it. What's my portfolio look like?
But you understand ETFs and
yeah.
Right. So
I used to be mostly ETF mutual funds,
which are great.
25 years ago, and then over time, it's like, if anything, I'm anti-ETF because in some asset classes I'm good. Like I want to get into China as soon as possible, so I've been buying into Chinese stocks. But as I get familiar with those stocks, I'm buying an ETF just so I have exposure. So it's a very good instrument there. When I got into, crypto, there were no ETFs in 2018, so I had to kind of like crack open books and read and get to know it and try to understand it. And then I started buying coins, and I'm good with it. But like my portfolio is $121,000 USD.
Okay.
And it started with zero in 2018. Little by little, dollar cost averaged in. It's doing well. The performance has been great. It's like, a lot of people, stock investors, will immediately say, "Oh no, crypto is like bad," and I'm like, "Okay, I can understand the response, but I thought it was worth the investment." I've lost my shirt on some stocks, especially like IPOs and stuff.
Yep.
So what's the difference, right? When you see a new technology, and I consider crypto being in the technology neighborhood, and it really made a lot of sense to me. So I started to buy in. I bought into Ether. I started staking it as soon as they offered it. Okay, cool. So we got staking, and staking is a lot like earning interest or dividend on your asset, correct?
To an extent, depending on what you're doing. So for Ethereum, right, that's where you get into like the difference between proof of work and proof of stake, right? Proof of work is basically you're mining. So that's what Bitcoin is, right? Bitcoin's a proof of work, where you're mining and doing mathematical computer problems and solving those. Where proof of stake, which Ethereum was proof of work, and they moved over to proof of stake, I guess 2 years ago. No, a year ago. A year ago, sorry. A year ago, they moved over to proof of stake. And proof of stake is with validators, right? So when you're staking your Ethereum, which you said you stake on Coinbase, so you have Coinbase Ethereum, right? CETH. You're staking that in Coinbase's validator. So the more ETH that's staked in a validator, the more transactions that validator gets to validate the transactions, which the rewards come back to that with the fees. So Coinbase has one of the biggest validators, just because it is Coinbase, right? And with Coinbase, their rewards, I think, is at like every 2 to 3 days, but then it takes almost like 20 days to unstake. If you ever did want to unstake, it does have a multiple day unstaking process that it goes through.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So we got staking. Now, you mentioned the Polygon network. Can you kind of go into that a little bit and give a quick overview on that?
Yeah. So Polygon is a layer 2 on Ethereum. So Ethereum at the time, let's go back 5 years. Ethereum at the time, very expensive. And we fast forward to even 3 years ago. Ethereum is very expensive to send transactions on, right? At the height of Ethereum, when a lot of people were using it, you have to write a smart contract basically for every transaction you want to do, right? Well, you have to pay a fee to accept that contract. You have to pay a fee to sign that contract, right? So the fees were ridiculous. You were paying upwards. I think the most I ever paid for a single fee on Ethereum was like 1.5 Ethereum. So that was just a fee. Okay. That's not even what I was sending or doing. That's how much I paid just to interact on the network. It was worth it because of a bunch of things I was doing. Anyway, so Polygon is a layer 2, which would still give you exposure to the Ethereum blockchain and still have the ERC20, right? So ERC20 is the technical name for the tokens and transactions that are going on with Ethereum. You still have exposure to that, but you're contained within Polygon and you are using less fees. So on Polygon, let's say you're paying 0.01 Matic to send a fee versus on Ethereum, you're sending 0.1 Ethereum to send something, and that was at the time. Matic has slowly started to dwindle out now that Ethereum moved over to proof of stake, because fees are negligible on ETH now. It doesn't really matter anymore, and it was cheaper to send on Polygon and then bridge back over from ETH, just because they were all intertwined from a layer 1 to a layer 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
And Polygon just switched. They used to be Matic, and then a month and a half ago, they changed their tickers over to POL. It's called. So now it's just Polygon, not Polygon.
So Matic changed its
ticker,
symbol?
You could say. Yep, yep. Okay. And it's just POL now.
Yeah, because I'm in a liquidity pool.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, right? So I've got two sons. The older boy's 24 and the younger boy's 20. The 20-year-old, he started mining Bitcoin when he was, this was like 7 years ago. He came home and he said,
"How was your electricity bill?"
I'll get there. So he said, "Hey, Dad, I want to start mining Bitcoin." And I said, "What's Bitcoin?" "What the hell are you talking about mining?" So he explained the whole thing. All right, cool. I got him a couple. I'm a technology guy. So if my kids say, "Hey, I want a new computer," yeah, no problem. I want to, code, no problem. When he was in the 3rd, 4th grade, they were modifying. What was the game they were on? Minecraft. So he and his buddies would get on a common server, get on, conference calls, and they're 4th graders. And I'm like, dude, this generation's so much smarter than I am. They're going to be light years ahead of me. So fast forward. So this kid starts mining Bitcoin. He gets all over cryptos and he starts educating me. If anything, just forcing me to kind of learn, because I don't want my kid involved in, anything that would be bad. So
of course,
he got me into liquidity pools. He got me into USD Matic liquidity pool.
Yep.
I've got wrapped Bitcoin on Polygon.
Okay.
I couldn't explain it to you very well. He explained it to me, and I swear I try my best to capture it all, but it's not intuitive.
You want me to put it in layman's terms for you?
Yeah.
It's just Bitcoin that's on Polygon. There you go.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Unless you want the technical behind it, I can do that. But just plain and simple, it's just Bitcoin that is on Polygon.
So so this boy, right, like, it was pretty cool because he early this morning, he's like asking me questions on stocks, and we went pretty deep. So when we have to talk old school finance and investing, I'm, the old dog still got a lot of knowledge to add. When we have to go to new generation, I got to talk to my kids. It's hilarious.
I get it. I deal with my mom. How do I use this goddamn cell phone?
Yeah, but we gotten into some interesting stuff. We also attended in San Francisco. We attended a crypto conference. This was in 2022.
Okay.
And man, I'm spacing on the particular project, but it was very interesting. I went there with my kid, and it was fun. So, all right. So we talked about
staking. Yeah.
Let's talk about liquidity pools.
Okay.
And give us some kind of a general framework of, this is liquidity pools, and this is how you can make money. This is how you can lose money. This is how your assets could potentially lose value or gain value.
Yep. Sure. So let me think here. How could I put this in easy terms? Okay, let's use currency for example. Okay, you have USD in the peso. Okay, you want to swap your pesos to USD. You use a broker that takes your pesos and gives you USD, right? And they take a little bit of a fee for that. That's basically what liquidity pools are. Liquidity pools is, you're the middleman. You are supplying both sides. They're single-sided LPs as well, or dual-sided. So, for instance, let's just do Bitcoin USDT, or USDC, whatever one you want, right? And you put up Bitcoin, equal amount of USDT. You put that in the pool, and you gain fees from people swapping in and out of that. Now, there is some risk to that, because if the asset itself starts to lose money, you also start to lose Bitcoin because people are going to keep swapping out of their Bitcoin and taking your USD that you have or USDT, and yeah, your Bitcoin, you have more Bitcoin, but the price of the asset is going down. So that is one of the risks that you have to face with LPs, and then we can get into some crazy LPs where there's one that I'm in right now that's offering 98.7% APY.
All right. Before we go there, let me
Yep,
make sure. Let me lock in that quick little lesson there. So when we're participating in a liquidity pool,
yep,
is of course that was a great analogy. The peso versus the U.S. dollar,
yep.
and old school. You go because I was in Mexico in 2023. So I did go and I got some pesos and I actually did it down in Mexico.
Okay.
And there was a transaction fee. Okay, that's all old school, reasonable. So
Yep.
now new school is okay. I'm part of the liquidity pool, so that fee that's being paid, I'm getting a portion of that because I
Based
put up
on
the
your weight.
liquidity.
Correct. Based on your weight in that pool is how much of that fee you get.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we are in. So old school, big institutions kind of had uh, access to that type of revenue. New
Correct.
school, it's like, hey, guys like me can put in what I've got $3,000 in this pool,
Yep.
and I'm making some fee income.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's pretty simple, right? Now, obviously, that the asset itself, the underlying asset, losing some money, you have some
But I
some
mean,
loss with that, but it
just
equals out. It equals out.
FYI. Okay, so you buy a stock, and
Yep.
it's a high dividend paying stock, and you would love for it to go up in value, but oftentimes stocks go down in value. So then you're sitting there going, well, I love the 6% dividend, but it lost 30% over the course of a year. So this is not a foreign concept, right? So you go into a liquidity pool, you think both sides are solid, but hey, welcome to investing, risk reward. You're in it. Now, if you diversify over time, or I would say if you spread your risk, if you have a greater proportion of winners versus loser investments, you're going to be doing great. But it's the same type of risk that you make in a stock investment where you're like, hey, I'm going to buy that stock. It pays a dividend. Well, it'll go down in price. Well, you lost. It depreciated over a year instead of appreciated. So same concept, I think. All right. So liquidity pools. Now, where do you access liquidity pools? Where can an
Yeah.
investor and go to access liquidity pools?
Sure. It just depends on what chain you're on, right? With Ethereum, you can do Uniswap, SushiSwap, Bitcoin. I would stay away from. I use Bitcoin as an example. I wouldn't use Bitcoin in liquidity pools. To be honest with you, it's too much of a risk. I would just stick with staking Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Solana, again, that's my big thing. I love Solana chain. I use it every day. For there's multiple different sites. You have Camino, Meteor, you have Blaze. There's a lot of sites, Radium, Orca, where you can go and do pools. Like I was mentioning the one LP I'm in. So PayPal, right?
Yep.
Everyone loves PayPal, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this. PayPal is stepping their game up within crypto. I don't know if you know this.
Tell me more. I'm a PayPal stockholder.
Then you should know this. So PayPal has introduced their own stablecoins. So you know how you have USDT?
Yep.
They have PYUSD. Now PYUSD is offered on Ethereum blockchain as well as Solana blockchain. You can also buy and sell crypto if you're in the US and EU. You can buy and sell crypto within PayPal itself. You can also send and receive crypto on chain as well. And so with the PYUSD, the way that works is every time someone buys PYUSD from PayPal, they go and mint that stable coin, right? They go and mint PYUSD. Then when you go to sell that PYUSD back to PayPal, they burn it. So the supply is staying at a constant level based on how much money's coming in and out of that. So there's a lot of pools that you can get into on Ethereum and on Solana with that PYUSD. Just because it is a newer stable. Yeah. And listen, I'm collecting very good APY on PYUSD.
So it was what year was it? Was it 99? So it was, I think it was about 1999, and I got a PayPal account, and I started transacting on PayPal, and it was a little bit like totally foreign to people. That was like cutting edge back then.
I can send money and receive it this fast?
Well, they were the beginning of like financial services, right? I started a business in 1995, and we wanted to receive credit cards. And dude, it was like applying for a home loan. It was like paperwork and registrations. It was like, dude, it was like guilty until proven innocent. It took so much effort and it was so expensive. And I still did it because I needed it for the business. So fast forward, we started a different business in 2012. And within 24 hours, I was receiving credit cards. I had a website up, and it was like really fast. Now, you kidding me? Like,
you're doing it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So this whole movement, right, is benefiting everybody, especially the consumer, especially small businesses. Big institutions don't like it because it's like, big like Visa, right? Visa's got to be a little concerned that this crypto.
Well, they got their own little thing going on with the government right now too.
They're considered no, but what I'm saying is like Visa in concept is 3% transaction fee on anything that goes through their platform. Well, that's 3% of opportunity. If you look at their revenues, if you look at the crypto industry, like PayPal minting their own coin, that's brilliant because
they're also burning it too. So the supply isn't going to be exuberant, right? They're only keeping the supply that actually has liquidity behind it. So it's not like they're going and saying, "Hey, we're going to go mint 20 billion of this," when in reality they only have $5 million back, right?
Like, I mean, their lane is to support transactions. Like they want people on their platforms, like Venmo. I'm sending money to people that I know. PayPal. I've got a PayPal account. That's primarily business for us, and we could accept credit cards, but it's primarily business.
Well, they just opened up crypto investing for businesses. Actually, PayPal did.
I got to totally look into that, man. That is completely a blind spot.
Yeah. So, they honestly, over the last 40 days, they have like gone off to the races. Now, the crypto part of it has been there for probably almost a year now, but actually like full-blown releasing products over the last 40 days has been nonstop with PayPal.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I'm really excited about that. So Robinhood, what is Robinhood, if you know? What do they do in the crypto space? What's their play?
Their play is a meme in the crypto space. But no, they opened it up to where you can send and receive crypto on chain. Robinhood is good in the sense of everyone has a cell phone, right? Most people that are in my generation, right? We have Robinhood, right? Use Robinhood or Webull or anything like that, right? I think millennials themselves don't care about E-Trade or Charles Schwab per se, right? I'm not going to say everyone, but most of us rather just take our phone, Robinhood, boom, I want to buy GameStop and just go and do that. So they blew up with the whole Dogecoin thing back in 2020, 2021, because they were one of the first exchanges, I'm going to use that in quote, exchanges that allowed you to buy and sell Dogecoin, and I think that's one of the reasons why it took off. And it's the same thing with uh, GameStop and AMC during that whole craze that happened there. Robinhood took off with the crypto aspects because of that. Then they expanded into being able to send and receive crypto on chain. But even then, it takes a very long time. I've tested it out. It takes a very, very long time to send and receive stuff on Robinhood. There's the rumors of they didn't actually hold the underlying asset, and then they had to go and buy it and then send it from whatever exchange that they're buying it from, et cetera, et cetera. So, my take on it personally, it's a meme, right? It's cool, like especially for people that are just getting into stocks. I can sit here and look you straight in the face, and I have made 7 figures using Robinhood, learning options and everything else, and then going Charles Schwab, right? So like, can't badmouth Robinhood, but at the same time, it's a meme. It's a meme. Okay. Go use a real broker.
All right. Good. So interesting revelation about PayPal. I'm going to look into that. Okay, so we have liquidity pools, and those you explained really well. Yep. What other types of investments are out there where an investor can get some type of income?
In crypto, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep it safe for you guys, but there is a lot of degen stuff that you can do in crypto. You can go and trade 1,000x leverage if you like, right?
No.
There's a lot of stuff. You have NFTs, right? NFT craze. I wouldn't suggest that.
So let's talk about NFTs. Let's talk about NFTs for a minute, because NFTs in 2020 were incredibly interesting, incredibly expensive, and now it's like, I don't think I hear about NFTs at all. Did the value?
No, NFTs are still around.
I know. I just don't like back then. It seemed like, oh, NFT art. Like, was it the
Bored Ape Yacht Clubs?
The ape NFTs.
Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Correct. And those, I forgot the prices, but they seemed ridiculous. Like 10 grand, 100 grand.
And no, that's cheap.
I'm like, what? Like somebody's buying a digital.
The floor just to buy in got up to like 150 ETH when ETH was like $3,500. That was just to buy like a base one and not even get into anything crazy. A CryptoPunk, which has been said to be the first NFT on Ethereum, one just sold the other day for 24,000 Ethereum, about $56 million.
God, my head's exploding. Well, okay, so explain to me what it's a NFT is non-fungible token, correct?
Correct.
And you own this, what I'm thinking is a digital copy of this art, is what I'm thinking.
Well, you're owning, so the data is on chain, right? With the NFT, the data is on chain. The picture is just a JPEG, right? So you have a URL to image servicing, right? That's what the actual picture is. But NFTs themselves are a lot more than just pictures. Like, it's great, right? Like I was saying, during the height, I paid 1.5 ETH to send a transaction. That was because of NFTs, right? Like, I didn't care about paying 1.5 ETH to send a transaction because I was making 10 ETH on it, So like, I didn't really care about losing on the fees. But NFTs themselves, we can get deep into that. I'm very passionate with it because NFTs are more than just a picture. NFTs are hard copies on chain. So you have your ID. Mm-hmm. Your ID can be an NFT on chain. That is your identity, right? And it's locked, and no one can take it. You lose your wallet. Let's say you're walking down the street, you lose your wallet, you lose your ID. I know you're in California, right? I know how bad it is here to go to the DMV in Pennsylvania, right? I can only imagine how crazy it is in California. You have it on chain and you have it stored in your ledger. It's pretty impossible for you to lose it. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but it's pretty impossible. Or a deed to your house, right? The
Right.
deed to your house is saved as an NFT.
That makes total sense. Like the deed to your house, because
Yep.
there's
Go
only
down to
one.
the courthouse. Go to the title services at your courthouse and try to get a copy of your deed or title. It's nearly impossible.
Well, not only that, so at least I live in Orange County in California, and I invest in real estate. So I have a number of experiences dealing with deeds and how they're issued out. It is like 1885 concept.
Oh
It's
yeah, they have
like
their Rolodex that they
a
go through and try
document,
to.
and here's the name, and I get it. Okay, that's it. But I look to it and say, man, like they it's both difficult and easy if somebody wanted to um, commit fraud, and if anything make a mess for a property owner, because they could
Yep.
start transferring titles, and then you'd have to undo that as a property owner and say no, that's fraud, and everybody involved would be in trouble. But it shouldn't be that way. There's a property, just put an NFT on that property, and that property's owned by this human being or
Yep.
corporation or limited liability.
They're doing it in Florida all the time, multiple times a month. There's houses just being bought and sold with their deeds as NFTs, right? Like it's no
So
picture.
they're already using NFTs in Florida.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. For years now, they have been doing that.
We got to catch up, because that totally makes sense. And then cars, I mean,
Yep.
just keep going on and on.
Well, you think about it with your car itself. You want to go buy a car and you do a loan.
Mhm.
The amount of paperwork that you have to do when you buy a car is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Have it on chain. I go and I sign that document with my wallet that's connected to me. Your loan documents, everything is on chain. Automatically gets taken out, right? Whether you want it to or not, automatically is written in the contract that, hey, on the 10th of every month you're paying X, Y, Z amount of money, right? It's great. It's amazing. NFTs, we can get into even more crazier stuff than that, right? I really love a token called Secret, right? It's a privacy coin, but they have, you like technology and software. So what they have is they have this thing called a trusted environment. So you know how on the blockchain, you can go and see every transaction, right? Like I can go on, if you give me your wallet address, I can see every single transaction that you ever did with your wallet. With a privacy chain, with this, is you can see the transaction, but you can't see what's inside that transaction. And that's where they have this thing called a privacy network, a trusted environment. And where I see this vision coming through is for medical purposes. So you know how you have your doctor and you have to transfer medical records from doctor to doctor, right? You can add your doctors to these trusted environments. You as being the owner of this trusted environment, you can add the doctors and take doctors out as you will, and they can't have copies of everything that's embedded within this trusted environment, right? And this adds on, just I use doctors as an example, but this can be added on for everything. For major institutions, major companies can use this trusted environment.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Especially for medical records, right? Is you become the owner of your medical records. I don't know about you, but I don't have a copy of my medical records. To be honest, I don't even know where my medical records are.
If you try to, so right now, like it's crazy, because like I went to a specialist, was it 2 years ago? And he's got his set of records. Then I go to my regular doctor.
Yep.
And then I go to some other doctor. 3 sets of 3 files for the same human being, same body.
Yep.
And then trying to get the
and then if they're in a
from
whole
one to the
nother
other.
health service, like they're in the whole nother health service.
And what's
thing,
nuts
right?
is, you know, I have one insurance payer, right? I have
Yep.
United Healthcare. So
Likewise.
they should be like the hub. Like, okay, you're going to all these, I'm going to put this stuff in your record. Okay. In your, you know, like you're explaining, right? And then everywhere I go, I could say, okay, I'm going to allow this doctor to see this portion of my information. That totally should be the case. And it should be ubiquitous and universal across any hospital, because it could be value add if you're traveling. Let's say I'm traveling to, let's say Texas, away from my medical network, my doctors and stuff. I could show up and say, hey, doctors, I need your care. Check out my data on my record.
Yep, exactly. And so they have to go and call and then get that record transferred. And I use that as a good example as having that trusted environment. But that can expand out to multitudes of things that you can use that trusted environment for. But you are in control yourself, right? And that's what crypto is. You taking control of your information, of your finances, and not having someone there, right? I hate banks. Right? I like to the next extent, right? I have Bank of America as one of my banks that I use. And the other day they went down and I saw it and I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not even really caring. But I did go on and look. I had no balance, right? Like they just had a computer glitch and it just shut down their whole system. Guess what? I go and I open up my wallet. I can see how much money I have. I go and look at my ledger. I can see how much I have. There's no delay. The chain isn't going down. As long as there is a internet and at least two validators up to be able to go, we're good. And there's hundreds of thousands of validators around the whole globe. It's amazing. This is what crypto is all about.
Very cool. Very good. Very good. All right. So thanks for the education on PayPal.
Yep.
So you talked about the Ledger product, but can you expand on, okay, for new investors in crypto, what are some safeguards and kind of some best practices, safe practices that you would put out there?
Yeah. Don't connect your wallet, right? If you are going with self-custodial standpoint, whether you have a MetaMask you download on your phone or on your computer, a Phantom wallet or anything like that, do not connect that to any site that you are not familiar with or any site that looks suspicious. Because as soon as you connect your wallet and you give permission, they have access to everything until you go in and actually revoke access. Don't give your seed phrase out. And then the most important thing, you have your seed phrases, do not, under any circumstances, save it on anything digital. Don't save it in your cloud. Don't save it in a Word document. Don't save it in a notepad document. Old school. Pen and paper. Now you can go even crazier. And what I do, Amazon, a stamp set, $10, a piece of copper, piece of aluminum, piece of steel, and sit there for the 20 minutes and stamp out 36 words. Put it in a safe. Catches on fire. Has to be a very hot fire for that to melt. Piece of paper will burn. But I sit there and I stamp. Every time I make a new wallet that has a seed phrase, I sit there and I stamp each letter for each word of 36 words.
Cut.
Because you can't call a 1-800 number when you get locked out of your wallet. You get locked out of your bank account, you can call the bank up and prove that you.
So what's the worst case scenario if, let's say, because I've heard that story of some guy was mining Bitcoin and he had it in a laptop and he got rid of the laptop. It went to a landfill. And I forgot how.
So that was back in the day. Right?
So let's say you have your Ledger wallet.
As long as you have the seed phrase, you can log in. Okay? You can log in with your seed phrase.
Okay.
Yep.
Just don't lose those seed phrases.
Do not.
You're screwed.
You're screwed. You're very screwed. You're not getting it back. I have a wallet that has about 12 Bitcoin in it that I just don't have access to anymore.
Oh no.
It's okay. And I wrote it off at this point. Don't lose your seed phrases. Don't lose your seed phrases.
All right. So I'm gonna get a stamp.
Or honestly, you can. Or on Ledger, they sell a capsule where you can go and move letters around. But I like the stamp myself personally. and it works, you know. And it's old school. It feels like you're back in Egyptian times while working with the future because you're sitting there stamping. So it's bringing old technology and new technology together at once. But it's a safeguard, right? It's a safeguard for you to keep that, and don't put in a safety deposit bank a box because even though you have a key, they can still get into your safety deposit box. But that's a whole conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
another thing. Yeah, yeah. Don't put your seed phrases in the safe deposit box. Keep that shit in a safe. And if you want to get really, really crazy, you split it up and keep one half in one spot and the other half in another spot, so the whole thing isn't together at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta like improve, update my whole crypto.
Security. Yes.
No,
Everyone
I
has
think
to.
yeah, I think that's the right
That's
phrase.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, listen, Web3 security, crypto security, a lot of people fall short on it. They go and they make a wallet on their cell phone. They take a screenshot. That shit's saved in the cloud, right?
Mhm.
Like, as much as we want and we trust our lives with Google, right? Google has every password to everything. Think about it. I don't save my passwords in Google, but like I get paranoid about things. But they literally have access to pretty much everybody that uses Google services has access to their whole house. I mean, not
Yeah,
their
but
whole life.
they encrypt it like
Oh,
it's
of course, it's
encrypted
encrypted.
at rest, and it's encrypted in transit, and
Of
it's
course,
encrypted until it gets to your eyeballs.
for
So
sure.
yeah.
Yes, but all I'm saying is don't leave stuff digitally. Don't open up Gmail and go to documents and write your seed phrase. And go as far, like sometimes I make a wallet, I use it once and throw it away, right? I won't even copy and paste the seed phrase with my computer. I'll sit there and write it on a piece of paper.
Hmm.
Just because every time you copy and paste something, it saves on your hard drive.
Okay.
That's getting a little too crazy into stuff. But yeah. But
Yeah.
you have to be careful. You have to be
Okay.
careful.
So don't so very important. That's a very sound piece of advice, which is when you deal with crypto, you do not just start with you do not give access to anybody.
No
Period.
one. And
And
always go with 36 word seed phrases. You have an
36.
option of 12, 24, 36. You can go with 54, right? But I think 36 is good. They've done the math on it. It would take almost a million years to unscramble a 36 word seed phrase.
Hmm.
If somebody was to try to hack into your thing, it would take about a million years. And when we get into quantum computing, I think it drops down to like 150,000, something like that.
Hmm.
My math might be off just a tad, but it takes a very long time to get into that. Where a 12 word could take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So never so just don't give access to anybody. Period. Okay.
no
I'm
one.
good.
Yep.
Um, okay. Now, what are like for again a stock investor, brand specking you? Of course, the
Yep.
super safe thing is if you bought an ETF through, I think it was BlackRock, that's
Yep.
easy. Okay, that's the easy
Super
button.
easy. Yep.
Buy that, symbol. I've got that asset on my portfolio. I'm good to go. So that's the easiest.
Yep.
Beyond that, what Coinbase is a very good access point.
It is. Yep.
Can you tell me, like, okay, there's Coinbase, but then there's also a couple of others that you should be aware of that seem to be fairly legitimate?
Yeah. So crypto.com. Binance is no really much longer in the US. But
Right.
crypto.com. Now with crypto.com, we can get into that where crypto.com has their own crypto. It's called Crow, CRO. And the way they have it is if you own a certain amount of their Crow and stake it, you can get a crypto.com like credit card and you can use their card and it will take your crypto and basically swap it out for fiat automatically for you. So let's say you go down to the local drugstore to buy gum and a magazine, right? and you go in there, you use your crypto.com card, you get cash back, but then it also spends your crypto instead of like your cash. And there's a bunch of other rewards. So like depending on how much you have stake, you can get free Spotify, free Amazon Prime, Google Plus, not Google Plus, sorry, YouTube Plus Premium, whatever it's called today. Like, so there's a whole bunch of other benefits as well as 5% back. And that's like 5% back on everything, not just 5% back on groceries or gas, 5% back on everything. And then it goes up from there based on how much you have staked. But it's pretty good. So I would say the two main ones, if you're in the US, crypto.com and Coinbase would be the two biggest things to go with. Then there's non-KYC exchanges, but that's a whole nother thing that you guys you probably wouldn't even care about. But that's just getting into not putting in, you're not going to be able to onboard and offboard. But Coinbase and crypto.com is your two biggest things. PayPal now has it. Even though I've owned crypto for a very long time, right? And I've owned Bitcoin for a very long time, I still have set up through Cash App to buy $25 worth of Bitcoin every single week. It's been going like that now for what, 5 years, 6 years? Just constantly just buying $25 worth of Bitcoin every week. And for no reason, I just enjoy it, you know? I just enjoy it. Yeah. So that would be the biggest thing that I would do is probably those two. And it's the safe. Yep.
Yeah, good advice. Very good.
And get it off the exchange too. Put it into a ledger. Self-custodialship. Self-custodialship is always good. FTX is a perfect example.
So that's tell me more on that one.
Yeah, FTX is the giant exchange that went down last year.
That's the Sam
Bankman-Fried. Yeah. So FTX went down. Everybody lost everything that they had on the exchange. They are repaying, but they're repaying out. So let's just say you had 10 Bitcoin, right? They're repaying back the Bitcoin at the price it was when everything collapsed. They're not just giving you 10 Bitcoin. They're just giving you the dollar value at the point of collapse, right? So if you had 10 Bitcoin right now, it would be what, like $620,000. 10 Bitcoin then was worth like $250,000. So, if you had it in your pocket, you would still have 10 Bitcoin. You would just have 200.
So the problem there was people were using FTX as their pseudo wallet. It was there.
Yep.
And you would prefer self-custodialship because it's in your possession.
Correct.
If FTX goes down, you don't care.
Exactly.
You've got your coins in possession.
Yep. Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Correct.
Right now, I'm on Coinbase. So I'm on I've got my coins in multiple places, but it's all digital online. I don't have a physical wallet.
So you should get a physical wallet. Get a physical wallet.
That's
now, for a security standpoint, don't tell me. Obviously, you already said Coinbase. For yourself, don't mention what other places you have stuff on. But get it off, right? Get it off. I know you said you were staking. You can leave whatever you have staking on Coinbase. But stuff that you don't have staking, that you're just holding, just get it off and put it in a wallet, right? If you have to sell it, what's the difference between Bitcoin taking 15 minutes to send versus you having on there? An extra 15 minutes isn't going to make a difference,
Okay.
Okay. So that's the biggest thing, especially if you're in it for the long run, right? You're in this for the long run. You said you like Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor said 13 million to 42 million back in July was his range of happening over the next 10 years. So, I don't think that happens, but it would be great. It would be great.
Yeah, we'll see. But the story of Bitcoin is just freaking incredible. It's incredible that it's at 62,000 now, considering that it was worth pennies like in 2010. It was like, what's Bitcoin? Nobody knew what Bitcoin was. So now it's a pretty good asset class.
It is. I took a gamble with it and it's paid off. So
Excellent.
It was definitely a great gamble. Very good gamble.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I enjoyed my time with you, man. I've taken 3 pages of notes that I'm going to process. I'm also going to listen to the video once it records and just take some action and try to improve my game, my crypto game. But I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me today.
Of course. And any other questions you have, just feel free to ask. And happy to help.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. So everybody, so the details to how you can follow Steve are in the description of the video. Please like and subscribe his channel. And Steve, thanks again. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, Victor.
All right. We'll see ya.